Welcome to Conversation with the Cancer. I am your Cancer, and this is episode 12. And today, I talk about this a lot, having a pleasure to interview people that I don't know. And today I have someone I absolutely know nothing about, but I watched her YouTube videos and I am very interested to get to know this woman and, pick her brain a little bit and see if we have similarities on, topics and whatnot. So, Davina, please say hello to the people.
Hello, hello, everyone.
So, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Tired, but good. So, daylight savings time just
Mm.
happened yesterday. So, trying to get in the groove of that now is fun. Like, my kids definitely were late to school, and I was fine with it. Like, they're supposed to be there at 8, they were there at 9 with
Wow.
notes. But I'm like, you know what? It's a mental health thing. Like, you need that. Like, you don't want your kids to go to school cranky. Listen, I did the teachers a favor.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I was one of them kids, like, if I went to school cranky, everybody felt me.
Right? See, and
Hmm.
mine are like that. So
Mm.
they're passionate kids. They're like, if I'm tired, you gonna feel it.
So, we are still in a pandemic. And of course, the president says by May 1st, vaccines
Hmm.
will be readily available to all adults. So, how have you been dealing with the pandemic? And as you were saying, you work from home and you have
Hmm.
kids. So, how have you been dealing with the pandemic?
So, it's been a roller coaster, I guess, for everybody. So, yeah, I've been working from home since literally March 17th was our last day in the office. But I'm an office coordinator, so I'm able to still go into the building. We just can't all be in there at once and things like that. So that part definitely was getting some taken used to because I had just started my job like in August of 2019. So, you're still getting used to everything. And that was a totally new position in general for me. So, trying to like I've been home more working than I actually been in the office since I started. So it's crazy.
Mm.
But as a mom, it is definitely testing my gangster a little bit. But we've tried to find a pattern. I am a woman of faith, so I definitely have played a lot of worship music on those days when we're stressful. We just put the worship music and just feel the atmosphere. So, and on a personal level, I think I've done more actually with a mask on, social distance in this last what year than in a long time. So it's yeah, it's been different. Like I don't know how I'm gonna feel when I actually go back to the office full time because I'm okay with this right now.
Yeah, I remember when it all first started and everybody had to work from home. I said a company would never be able to tell their employees again, you can't work from home.
You're
You'll never
right.
be able to say we don't have not income, but we don't have the finances to do something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And I feel like th- a lot of I don't want to say blessings, but a lot of good things have came from COVID, like the 6 feet thing. Like
Right.
that is amazing. Like
I
I love
know.
that because I'm antsy when I'm in the line. I'll be wanting people to hurry up, but now that
Right.
I'm 6 feet, they don't have to feel me breathing over them.
Right.
I'll be like, but I
For
enjoy that,
real.
and
Yeah.
I'm a person that's still going to wear his mask,
Yeah.
like because I just feel like certain scenarios and
Mhm.
environments, you like, I'm kind of comfortable wearing my mask.
Right.
Sometimes when I go in places and I'm with someone, they be like, you can take your mask off because we ain't be inside. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like I don't need to take mine off. But so that's
Yes.
good. So you said 2019. So you had just started right when it basically took off about 4 or 5 months later. So do you feel like you have a good grasp of your job and you can be able to do it when you transition back into the building?
Um, yes and no. It's so weird because our whole program actually has had to change. We service grieving children. So
Mm.
we have actually had to transfer a whole program virtually. So even my position in general has changed with things I'm responsible for and things like that. So I think it's going to be a learning curve for all of us, even the professionals that have been there before me, because we all express it now. Like there's things that they have forgotten and they've been there for years because we haven't been in the building consistently. So I think there will be some stuff, I gotta learn, but I think I'll be good. I'll be all right.
So let me ask you this. I am a person of faith also. Are you one of the people that believe, like, I don't want to say the pandemic was supposed to happen, but certain things that have taken place since the pandemic is, you know, I don't want to say destiny. How I want to say it. It was meant to happen in this type of way and situation, like outcome, like I don't really know how to word that in a respectable,
I
considerate way,
know. It's
but
it's so yeah. I get where you're going because
mhm,
yes, I said in my belief, I believe that God is in control and he allows things to happen for a reason. Even when, we want to act like, oh God, he can make everything like he can stop this. He can and he allows, but I think this is a way that builds people's faith. And I think
mm,
this has allowed people to really lean on him more. I know I mean, my pastor told me like 20% of people have left the church because of the pandemic, which it breaks my heart. But I also believe there's so many people that have come to know the Lord because that's all they could do is lean on him because no one knows how this happened, where it came from, when it's going to fully end or anything like that. And we really just have to have faith and believe in him. And I know that's a whole nother topic for another day, but I personally believe he is allowing, I don't think he made this happen, but I think he is allowing it to happen for a reason. So yeah, I was in the beginning of the pandemic. I had to take a break because I was reading every article and everything, and I'm like, see this, not, and becoming almost like a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I need to back up. I need to get my emotions intact because I think we all were very emotional. But yeah.
I can admit to that this was the first time ever in my life that I started to almost believe in conspiracies because it was
Hmm.
so much that came out so fast about the
Yes.
pandemic and 5G and
Mm.
didn't nobody eat no bat. This was made in a lab. I'm like, man, some of this stuff kind of sounded, but
That sounds right, right?
you had to kind of just pull yourself back. But yeah,
You
so
do.
I stumbled upon you, you
Yeah.
know. So let me just tell on myself. So I had saw your IG and then I watched your YouTube video and I had told you I was gonna shoot my shot, but I was like, she in a different state. So I started liking the things that you were saying. I'm like, oh, she has a perspective, not just an
Mhm.
opinion. Because some people just have
Oh,
opinions and don't really have a perspective. They want to tell you what to do, but they don't tell you how you should do it. So you have two videos that I watched: your bucket list and dating yourself during the holidays. So before we get into the videos, what prompted you to start recording yourself?
so I have to rewind then for that because I don't know if you noticed, but this is my brand. It's called Divinely Crowned.
Okay.
I started working on it in 2017, but officially launched Divinely Crowned in 2018. And I consider myself a faith, lifestyle, and fashion influencer. So I've always wanted to do like YouTube. Since I was a little girl, like you can ask anybody, I've always said I want to be like Oprah when I grow up. Like I want to be able to interview people. I want to be able to like bless people, all that. And I'm like, I'm gonna be like Oprah one day. So I felt like YouTube was my Oprah platform.
Okay.
So I follow other YouTubers and I'm like, I could do this. So
Hmm.
finally, during the pandemic, so I guess that's another thing that came out of this pandemic, I finally was like, let me get out of my own way. Let my faith be bigger than my fear and finally
Ooh.
launch my YouTube channel. So yeah, that's how I started.
I like that. Let my faith be bigger than my fears. I'm gonna remember that forever.
Yes. I didn't start that, but I definitely have adopted it in my own life.
So that was me. I didn't do it because other people was doing it. I just always like talking. and I
Mhm.
used to always have an informed opinion about something, like whether it was sports, whether it was television, whether it was movies, whether it was science or conspiracies or clothes or
Mhm.
you know how much water you should drink and stuff like that. And I'm big into working out and things like that. So my best friend and I tell her everything. So one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start recording my movie reviews, and as a true best friend, do it. You don't really supposed to say much after that.
Mhm.
So I did one. I'm like, man, this is really grainy. No one's gonna like it. And then I
Mhm.
told a bunch of people about it, so people watched it. And so that really all it takes, is that first one. Once you get that first one out,
Yeah.
and then you stop caring how many people watch it, and then you start
Mhm.
caring about your product and your brand.
Mhm.
And I'm just now getting to the branding side of the things. Like you said, you already established your brand and
Mhm.
whatnot. So how did you come up with the name Divinely Crowned? And like, you said you wanted to be Oprah. Oprah inspired so many people. So we don't
Mhm.
really need to go down that route. But how
Mhm.
did you know you wanted to go with that name and brand yourself? Because branding yourself and know what you want your brand to be is very important.
Mhm. So my name actually, I always tell guys with the name David that I'm the female version of them because my name means divine and beloved, like
Right?
David. So people growing up always called me divine. So that kind of where divinely came from. And I have always loved crowns since I was little, like just I've always considered myself a queen. Like people call me queen. I try to carry myself and inspire other women to, embrace the queens within them, which is one of the big things with Divinely Crowned is encouraging women to have self-love and confidence through faith, life, and style. So, and actually for my Instagram, it didn't start as Divinely Crowned. It actually was Divinely Plus because I wanted to like inspire other curvy and plus size women to, dress the way they want. And then I was like, you know what? If I'm going to make Divinely Crown my brand, I might as well make everything Divinely Crown, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, like everything. So that's how I ended up just switching it to Divinely Crowned.
Wonderful, wonderful. So okay, so I have to ask this because that's a really big thing now in 2021. Curvy women finding their place and saying they're just as they are as equal, and we look just as good. You just have to embrace our curves. Do you
Hmm.
find like you had any challenges doing that with your brand, or you found like it's easy to just put that message out there?
Um, I think most of my challenges came from inside and personally. Like, um, when I started Divinely Plus, I wanted to just inspire plus size women because I was inspired by plus size women. Like growing up, I had very low self esteem because of my curves and whatever, and I was always seen like the biggest girl. And then when I had my daughter, she's now 8, but I just realized I had to start embracing confidence and stuff. And so I started getting inspired by other plus size women, and I wanted to do that as well. So, because I've always loved fashion, but I never was confident enough to wear what I wanted. So as I was doing Divinely Plus, focusing on plus size and curvy women, I noticed that e- all women were being inspired by me, and like I have not had any negative feedback yet because of what I do as far as my fashion part goes. I prepare myself for that, but I haven't, and I've gotten a lot. Like sometimes, even this past week, I was like looking at my own Instagram, like, wow, like I've come a long way, and like watching how many people I inspire is beautiful. Like when you're just focused on your brand and just trying to do your purpose, and then actually stepping back and looking at how far you've come already, it's a beautiful thing.
I think that's beautiful also for the simple fact that everything needs to be embraced when it's on a large scale like that, because you can't hide from curvy or plus size women. Like they're everywhere. Like I remember when I was younger and they had that, what was that one store, Ashley Stewart, and it was
Hmm.
another one.
Um, uh, it's
Ah,
on the tip of my
it's
tongue.
mine too, but I can't
Uh,
remember it. But I remember that because my mom is a plus size woman. So she
Lane
used
Bryant.
Lane Bryant,
Lane Bryant. I'm
and
sorry,
she
I
used
had
to
to get
go in
that
there,
out.
and she used to go in there. I'd be like, "Why are we in this store? Why can't we just go to she explained it to me, so I was like, "Oh, okay." I had no
Yeah.
idea of it. So I mean, it's really big. It's in music. I remember Drake said something like he likes BBWs and every woman's
Mhm.
running crazy with. I'm like, look, people been saying that for years, but he said it
Right.
all of a
I know.
sudden it's a big thing.
So now you guys into it.
Nah, you guys are saying it. So okay, okay. So let's talk about one of your videos. Cause you said something that was funny to me, but not in a hysterical way, but more in a just like, I can't believe you titled it this, like you have to date yourself around the holiday. So before you explain the video, I want to ask you a dating question.
Okay.
Is this something you thought about when you weren't single, when you were in a relationship? Do you ever think like, do single women date themselves, or this only because what you was going through in the time of the video? Like, is this something you had in your mind before, or this just a revelation that came from the process of where you at now?
Definitely a revelation of the process I am in now. Not
Okay.
saying that before, like, I made that video right as I thought of it. Like, that's something I've been learning over the last few years, is that you really have to date yourself. Like, and good question to ask. Like, is that something I thought about when I was in a relationship? Absolutely not. I did not. I was committed to my relationship. Um, and friends, like, I feel like friends don't even count as dating yourself because you're still putting your attention into somebody else. But no, I didn't. But I will definitely take that into my next relationship.
Okay. Okay. So when you say date yourself, like, because my idea of a date may not be an ideal of a date that you think of. So when you say date yourself, can you explain what you mean by a dating yourself? Like, are you saying you taking yourself out? Are you just sitting around with some candles, eat some Stouffer's mac and cheese? Like, what is what is the date that you mean for yourself?
Yeah, dating myself is just that. Like, I think it's all aspects. It's whatever you desire to do with somebody else
Mm-hmm.
until you have that somebody else, or even when you have that somebody else, do it for yourself. So
Mm.
taking yourself out to dinner, um, sitting and binge watching Queens of the South, because that's the one I just watched. What, isn't that good? Queen of the South, and just lighting candles and you know, uh anything that makes you happy. Like, I believe that's anything that makes you happy, because I know I've had to learn that, like, we desire all these things from a mate, and that's okay, which I've had to be told more than once. But what are we doing for ourselves, and what are we going to be able to teach our mate that we like about ourselves? And I've been big into learning and understanding what love languages are, and
Ooh.
I think they're so important. Like, I think love languages are very important. And I think that goes for yourself and if you're in a relationship. And I even actually, on Facebook, somebody posted like love languages are things that you didn't get when you were a kid. And I'm like, I can see that, but then I can't. So it's like a 50-50. I do understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, like, my biggest love language is quality time. So I spend quality time with myself. Like, um on top of being a mom though.
Mhm.
So trying to find that balance of self-care Sundays, self-care Saturdays, um, putting a face mask on and putting 15 minutes of the ocean. Like, those are type of things I say mean when I say dating yourself.
I like that. I like that. So my love language used to be chicken. Like, no joke. Like, my friends would tell you, like, if they want me to do something, they'll be like, I'll buy you some chicken. I'm like, man, you don't know me, but I'll be over there because I'm not gonna pass up no chicken. But as I'm older and I am more self-aware of what I like and what I need, mine is also quality time.
Hmm.
Like, that's like I tell people all the time, like, you want to do something, let's do it. If you want to spend time
Hmm.
and spend time with me, and I have to write it down because I'll forget, so I write everything down. But yeah, mine is definitely quality time.
Hmm.
So I don't agree with that Facebook post because when you're little, you don't know what you need unless it's provided to you. So
Hmm.
I can't say for me love language is what you didn't get as a child. Because as a child, I don't feel like I was devoid of anything because I didn't know what I needed till I became an adult. And I look back on it
Mhm.
like, of course, I would have rather spent more time with my father doing things, but I don't feel like my love language is time with my father. Because I
Mhm.
could call my father right now and go spend all the time in the world I want with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can understand why somebody can say that because if you didn't get love as a child, you're probably really not going to know how to love growing up,
Right.
so I can agree with that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so you have another video called the bucket list, and i just want to I just want to know, like, is a bucket list a real thing for people of young age? Like, I thought that's something when you get older and you be like, you know what, there's things that I haven't done in my life I want to do. Because I feel like when we're young, we're always eager to do something, so we'll find some way to do something of that action or trip. Like, say you want to go to a beach, you can't go to a beach, so you'll go to the nearest lake or beach by you. Or I want to go to Six Flags in North Carolina, you don't got a Six Flag, but you'll go to the carnival. So is your bucket list derivative from your desires to be outside of your state, or just things you can do to not go crazy because of the pandemic?
So I so obviously that was in the beginning of the year that I put
Mm,
that.
okay.
And every that was me taking the pressure of off of myself for goals. I think we've been so big into we need to meet all these goals. We
Hmm.
need to like in our millennials, we feel like if we don't get to a certain place by a certain time, we're a failure. Or if we see somebody doing finally doing what they want, where so I that was me taking the pressure off, writing uh, 25 goals for the year. I'm like, let me just put a few bucket list goals that I would like to accomplish this year, like that I would like to experience or do. And then it takes the pressure off feeling like at the end of the year, I didn't get nowhere. Not saying that I haven't met goals in the past, but I'm so like hard, we're our biggest critic, we're hardest on ourselves. So that was me just taking that and seeing if I can inspire somebody else to think outside the box like that. But that's funny that you say bucket list is older because I've never heard like I've always heard people say like I mean, and of course most of it's like my bucket list is like my one of my bucket list goals, my major ones is to go to like Greece one day, and stuff like that. But I feel like a bucket list can be at any point in your life and at whatever it is you want to do.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I didn't know what a bucket list was till that movie came out with Morgan Freeman. Like, I ain't never heard the saying in my
I don't even think
life.
I've seen that
I didn't
movie.
watch the movie. It was like Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, if I recall, and it was called Bucket List. And they just
Really?
did things they didn't do in their whole entire life up until that point. And so that's when I first heard. I said, "What's a bucket list?" And then I read the synopsis of the movie, and I'm like, "Oh."
That's so funny.
Because when you're younger, you don't think about bucket list. You just think about, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna try to do it. And if you don't
Hmm.
do it, you move on to your next thing and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I'm very mindful of bucket lists and things of that nature, but I ain't never heard of it until that movie came out. I don't remember what year that movie came out. I should have looked that up beforehand.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
look it up. I've never even heard of that.
it's an older movie. It's in the 2000s, maybe
Okay.
something like that around there.
Okay.
So when you have a YouTube channel, a brand, and you working, and you're a mother, and we're in a pandemic, what is your happiness and your peace and your passion? Like, where does that come from you? Do you have that in your life when you're doing so much? Like, do you have time to just sit down and think about the things that are going on in your life and be happy with what you're doing?
Yes. I It's so funny because I just said like I have like cabin fever, but not like I haven't been able to be out the house, but it's like I'm ready to go to like a tropical area. So now I'm losing that passion or something because I'm like I think it's also because you see everybody and their mother going everywhere. I'm like, good for you guys and you're not wanting the social distance. But um in general, I have a great support system. Actually, if you look at one of my older videos, I had shared that I live with my parents. My kids and I both live with my parents. And being able to be here with them and having that support is very helpful. Um, I don't always take the support. Like I know my mom's always like, you can go do something. So I'm still learning. I'm still learning to date myself. But I think my passions come from my children. My
Okay.
children are just like me. They want a YouTube channel. My daughter, I found like videos in my mom and I's phone of her like talking just like me, like being an inspiration. And I'm like, I have to do this for them. Like, I have to
Mm,
continue. Like, this is stuff I've always wanted. And then when I became a mom, I kind of put my dreams on the back burner and we're like, I got to focus on them. And now seeing them, my daughter's like, Mommy, when I get older, I'm gonna take over Divinely Crown, and then my daughter's gonna take over it and stuff like that. So even hearing her say that, it's like I can't just do this for me. So I gotta keep moving because for her, like even if she doesn't want to end up taking over Divinely Crown, just her seeing somebody right next to her push through to go after their dreams. That's one of my biggest things is why I stay motivated. And as far as like how I get inspired is seeing other people do what I do, or even people like actually she's a cousin of mine, but locally she just opened her own boutique in a plaza here that never had any black owned businesses. And she's my age, and to see where she had started, just even just following her on social media to now, it inspires me to like keep pushing, like and keep going after my dreams because I believe they're gonna pay off in the end.
wow, that's beautiful. Like for your daughter, how old is your daughter?
She's 8.
Hey, how old is your other? Is the son or
My son will be 6 next week.
six?
Yeah.
So for your daughter to have that awareness
Oh
and
my goodness. Yeah.
that goal oriented already of
Mhm.
once you done with it, I'll pick it up, or even before you're done with it, I'll pick it up. And then if
Mhm.
I'm going to have children and they're gonna
Mhm.
pick it up, like
I don't even want to think about that. Like,
right, right. Your
how
daughter,
about you, right?
your daughter is really far out there, but that's beautiful
Yes.
because that comes from your tutelage of how you're raising your children. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're
Thank
better than most because most people, when they live with their parents, they be like, all right, I'm about to be out and just leave their kids with their parents. But you're like,
you.
that's kind of not crazy, but that's kind of interesting that you don't think about it like that. You think about it as in, no, I'll just be here with them. I work from home. I'll just be here with them when they
Mhm.
get home. So
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Like I feel like what I'm learning about branding is that you have to constantly push it. You have to make
Mm.
everything your brand. And I'm getting ready to get it on like clothes and like masks and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I've been asking a lot of my friends like if I just get it and I give it to you where you wear it. Cause I'm not gonna make
Mhm.
nobody buy it or nothing right now. That's down the
Mhm.
road. But just far
Mhm.
as like letting people see it when it's not on me
Mhm.
or that's something big. Have you thought
Mhm.
about how are you branding in such
Mhm.
ways?
Mhm. Yeah. I do. That's part of my brand. Eventually, God willing, I get the money to start. But I do. I almost wore my T-shirt. I was like, no, just wear regular clothes. But yes, I have given my shirt to other like family and friends. Hopefully, my plan. This is a goal, not a part of my bucket list. This is the actual goal. To have Divinely Crown clothes before the end of the year, at least some type. Like even if it's just finally putting out my T-shirts and stuff, and that's for sale for profit. But I definitely and yeah, I definitely encourage you to like give it to. Don't give it to all your friends, just the close ones, not everybody, because
Yeah, yeah. It's just people I
some
talk to
people,
on a daily
yeah, but
basis.
yeah. So I definitely, that's what I've learned too, and saw like having your family and your friends wear your clothes, and then so. But yes, that will definitely be a part of my brand as well.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, okay, definitely I will plug where they can buy your stuff when this comes out.
Hmm.
So I will definitely do that
Thank
for
you.
you. I believe in that.
Thank
Um,
you.
actually I should have worn my friend's hoodie that I bought for him, his clothing line. Oh, I'm tripping. I'll wear it in my next
Yeah.
podcast. I'll tell him when it's coming out. So the theme and name of my podcast is called Conversation with a Cancer. And I'm learning more and more and more about cancer, me and or myself and Cancer women. I don't know if I still believe in horoscopes, but I do believe in some of the things that I've have learned about me being a Cancer. It is
Mhm.
true. Some things I don't want to say is true, but they are
Mhm.
true. So this is the part of the podcast where I ask, what is your experience, if you have any experience, with a Cancer man or woman?
I was like, when this question, I'm gonna just crack up because I literally was like looking through like friends and family and like, do I have anybody who is a Cancer? And I don't. Like,
Okay.
I have people that like just almost because it's like Gemini is right on this side and then Leo,
Leo,
right?
right? Hmm.
So I know I have relationships with Leos and Geminis, but no Cancers that like no close. So yeah, that's it's really interesting.
Well, okay.
I
I mean,
know.
I've been noticed some people don't, and then sometimes people be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that person was a Cancer until
Yeah,
this
that
question
too.
came around." Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So, what horoscope are you?
I'm a Libra.
You're a Libra. Is that
I'm
the
the
one with the?
queen of
Is that the
Libras.
one with the scales?
The scale.
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't know why I did the hand motion. I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
That was
that's right.
just.
I start the Libras.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about a Libra woman. What?
Ooh.
How do they not classify, but how do they define what a Libra woman is?
It's funny because I don't ever remember until I read it. I should
Okay.
Google it. But I do know that they okay, so let me just rewind. I've had many people tell me they do not I'm the only Libra that they like. I guess Libras are difficult, and I might be a little difficult sometimes, but I don't think I'm difficult. But yeah, I've literally like, Davina, I do not like Libras. Like, you're the only one. And I'm like, really? Like,
Mm,
we're pretty cool. But I know
wow.
we're loyal. And it's funny though, I did look up before this podcast that Cancers are not compatible with Aries, I believe, and Libras.
What month is Aries?
I think that's like now or coming up or some. I think that's around this time.
Now I gotta Google it because
No, you look, you can have me Googling what a Libra.
I don't know what month Aries is.
I literally, yeah. Hold on, let me see now.
Aries horoscope dates. So Aries are March 21st through April 19th. Oh, so you're
Okay.
right. Yeah, we're currently in
Yeah.
Aries season.
Mhm.
Here's my thing. I have no idea who I'm strongly compatible with and who I'm not
Mhm.
compatible with. Um, because I don't pay close attention to it. But I guess maybe I should start. I don't know. Maybe I should see what I'm compatible with and try to date that. That's kind of weird though. Try to
I
be
don't.
like, so
Yeah.
are you a
Right.
Gemini?
Because
Oh,
I'm
I
not
can't mess with
compatible,
you.
right?
Yeah, I can't
I
date
don't.
you.
That's and like you said, like I don't read horoscopes. Like I think I used to when I was like young, but
Hmm.
and I still don't know how. Like I've always been like proud to be a Libra, but I'm not like everyday check in or like every day looking for it. And now they have all these other astrology things, so I'm like I can't keep up with that. Yes, I know there's some things that a Libra like I have Libra tendencies or whatever, but I just know this is how God made me, and I'm trying my best.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, yeah, I only wanted to learn it because I started hearing it a lot from the women that I was dating and they were into it. You
Oh
know, when
wow.
someone's into something and you're not into it, they always have this interesting perspective on it. And you be like,
Mhm.
oh, for real? Oh, that's me?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, cool. But then when you start hearing it you enough, you start to pay attention to it. So that's how, not how I came up with the name, but how I came up with the
Mhm.
idea for the podcast, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
I think it's awesome. I think
yeah.
it's got a whole ring to it, and definitely that's dope.
Yeah. So it's something else I want to ask you. So when I started doing videos, I mean podcasting and recording myself, because I have multiple YouTube channels.
Mhm.
This one for my podcast, and then I have one where I just tell stories of
Mhm.
things that happened to me in my life, my encounter with women that I thought were funny, or I think is funny. So do you feel like you have to be so honest that you have to tell on yourself, or do you feel like you're in the moment and you're like, this is just what I want to talk about right now?
I am very organic with my videos. Like I'm in a few groups. Are you talking about my videos, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm in a few like influencer groups where like they give advice and things. And the biggest thing is them always talking about planning out your videos and planning out your week. And like I know people that record like multiple videos in one day, and I'm like, that's not what I want to do. Like maybe eventually, like I might have to do that just to keep organized, but I like to just pick up the camera when I feel like something's on my heart, or something that I've been thinking about, like maybe within that week or something. Like I do have a list of things like I want to eventually talk about, but at the same time I want to make sure it's like real and authentic. Like I'm very, like even for my channel, I want to be as transparent as possible, like, and show like, listen, I'm human, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I want to inspire somebody else that you're not alone. Even going back to my video with because my one with the about the parents being a millennial with children and living with your parents, that was my second video I put out, because I wanted people to know, like, you might see, if I'm in a vlog, you might see my mom around all the time or something. So even after posting that video, I had so many people like writing me like, wow, thank you for this, like I thought I was alone, I was embarrassed and everything. And like, so I knew that was one I wanted to put out, but I let it be just organic, no script, no nothing. However, I said it the first time around, no takes or redos, and I just posted it. So,
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. I don't know if I could do multiple videos in a day. Like
mhm,
I can record multiple times. I try to do 2 to 3 podcasts a week.
mhm,
I've had some cancellations lately, but I don't know if I could do 2 podcasts a day. You know what? Let me not say I don't know I could do it. I just
yeah,
never tried to do
tried,
multiple
mhm,
recordings in a day. I can
mhm,
do a podcast and then go record a video for my other YouTube channel,
mhm,
but I'm very big into my editing process, so I like to take my
mhm,
time. Like editing a podcast is easy. I know exactly where I want things to be in a podcast. Easy.
mhm,
But my other one, it takes time because I want to add things and I want to put effects and I want it
mhm,
to pop in certain areas. So
mhm.
I don't know if I could. I should try that one day. I should try to just record multiple podcasts in one day. But then you have to change your clothes and then
That part.
that's the part I didn't like.
I
That's what
don't,
it
and
is for
I just,
me.
yeah,
Yeah,
and like, listen, no shade to no one. And I think if that works, like being a
absolutely do
mom,
it.
that probably could work for, should work for me. I let me change my, but at the same time I'm like, oh god, that's so much more work. Like I've done a clothing haul on my channel where I'm like trying on different outfits, and that was a lot. So trying to like change clothes and record, but a podcast, I feel like that would probably be easier because you don't have to get done up. I
Right.
mean, you're on the screen, but like you really don't have to get done up to
That's
be on
it.
a podcast.
I just it's
So yes.
like as the weather changes in Ohio, it'll be different. Like right now, I'm doing hoodies and hats, and
Mhm.
probably in the spring and the summer, y'all gonna see a lot of t-shirts in the summer. I'm gonna be tanked out because I work
Right.
out hard. I'm gonna start showing my body on here. Like I'm gonna come in here one day and I'm just gonna be like this. But I do think it's easier for men, definitely for podcasts, because all you really seeing is from basically the neck up, really. So
Mhm.
for women, it's much more. Y'all want to beat your face.
Mhm.
Y'all want your hair
Right.
over the shoulder,
Listen.
behind the shoulder, in front.
Right. I done switched this thing a
I
thousand
seen it.
times.
Y'all be doing it big. Like I tell people all the time when we get record, they be like, "Oh, I got to get dressed." I'm like, "You really? Oh, but you can't tell a woman that
You
because they
don't tell
want
no woman that,
right, right,
okay?
yeah." Oh my goodness,
But
that's
yeah,
hilarious.
even going so I guess for me, like I do edit my videos. Everything I do right now, and I think I saw you comment on it, is on my phone. So I think also once I get my laptop, prayerfully in the next few weeks, okay, that I'll be more invested in making consistent videos and doing all that. But I do like I record, I edit, and that's a lot. Like your little iPhone can only do so much. So that's why I said, I tell everybody, I'm like, oh, once I get this MacBook, it's over. You guys don't know. You're gonna be seeing a video every other day.
Yeah, I record my videos on my desktop
Mhm.
and then I edit them on my laptop.
Oh wow.
Cause
Oh wow. Okay.
my camera and picture quality and the speed on my desktop and the memory I have is much
Mhm.
larger. So it's
Mhm.
able to do it at a faster pace. Or where on my laptop, I can edit at such a faster pace
Yeah.
because my laptop moves quicker.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I
I
that's why I
got
say
you.
you should definitely get a computer when you get one. Like definitely think about a desktop too, because you want to, well, let me not say that. For me, it works better having separate, you know,
Mhm.
and I have an external hard drive. So I think like when you get your MacBook, you should definitely just go full throttle because once you get that, you'll be like, man, you can breathe it. You'll probably get a MacBook with a
Mhm.
camera already in it. You could just have your
Mhm.
phone on the side, but
Yes.
your recording process and editing process will probably be so much simpler.
So much
But then
better.
you'll be able to do more things.
Yeah.
You'll be able
I
to do
can't
to,
wait.
yeah. I mean, I spend a good amount of time editing than I do exporting, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
Like to put it in YouTube really takes me about 10 minutes because I have some stuff pre-saved and then just have stuff
Mm.
I have to put your name in and then what I want to name it, but and then what day I want it to come out. But other than that,
Mhm.
that doesn't take long. But the
Yeah.
editing part is the most difficult thing for me because I
Yeah.
like a certain quality. But you know.
Perfection. I know. I've done, like, I was always into making those slideshows. Like, I
Mhm.
was class president in 8th and 12th grade, so I made a slideshow for both. Like, I've always been into that. My sister goes, "You should be in like media or something." I'm like, "I know. I need to be doing a little bit of everything. Just need to have a whole production with Divinely Crowned."
It's
So,
coming. Like it's coming.
mhm.
It always starts small before it gets
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
just don't forget about me when you blow up and I got to
Right.
talk to your secretary.
Listen, you listen. This is my first ever interview, so
Okay.
I feel like this is points for both of us right now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as soon as I heard you start, well, as soon as I watched the video and I heard you started talking and the way you were talking to yourself to the camera, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ask her because
Oh,
like,
thank you.
I could tell that you are someone who speaks well and also has a lot to say. Like because I saw how long it was and what you was talking about, I was like, oh yeah, she has. See, I would have been my video would have been at least 10 minutes shorter and it'd have been straight to the point. Like my bucket list, I would have just put a number up there and it'd be like number one, get out of Ohio. Number two, how many days I'm out of Ohio. Like,
I know my best friend tells me all the time, you are long winded. I'm long winded in text messages and conversations. Listen.
but that's good though, because you're trying to make sure you take your time and say everything you want to say. Like
Right.
sometimes I speak too fast and I don't get a clear thought out, and then I have to go back and fix it and re-record.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
very straight to the point, you know.
Mhm.
But there's nothing wrong with that. So I got a couple more questions for you. 2021, I said I'm gonna do a lot of traveling
Mhm.
and I'm not waiting anymore. I'm gonna put my mask on, get on them planes, and I'm not gonna eat them nuts on the plane no more. Pause. Like I used to be all for them plane and little plane snacks, but now I'm just gonna go to sleep with my mask on. But
Yes.
so what are well, let me not say bucket list. What are you trying to accomplish this year with your branding and also getting out of your state?
So I definitely want to travel more. We just did a girls trip. I went skiing for the first time.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, and that was like, I in my 20s I didn't do a lot. Like, I was a mom most of my 20s. So now that my kids are getting older and like have more independence, like I'm ready to start traveling. I've been saying for the last few weeks, like, I just want to go somewhere. So definitely traveling is, and I want little trips, big trips, whatever. I just want to get out of my city. Like, it's not even the state, just the city.
Hmm.
And continuing to like not be complacent. Like,
Mm.
as much as I've done for my brand, like, I've been a little complacent. Like, I could probably be further than I am. And more photo shoots because I love photo shoots. I would
Okay.
love to be a print model. Like, I want to be runway, but I want to do it just because I love clothes. Like, I'm not like a follow the trend. I like what I like. I just like style, but that's definitely. And then, like I told you earlier, like, getting my clothing out, getting my laptop. Like, I would love to do more interviews like this and even probably host my own like event. At least one event this year I would like to do. So,
Mm. Okay. So here's my issue with branding, making people want to be a part of your brand. because if it's not money attached or some type of, I don't want to say fame, but notoriety to it, like most people just like, okay, I'll support you silently or from a distance. So like I feel like it almost takes one of those big spikes in one of your videos or you to go viral to really get your brand out there nowadays. So
Mhm. Mhm.
have you thought about any viral way to get your brand bigger? Like maybe if I just do one of those TikTok videos or get in one of those unnecessary conversations with somebody,
Mm.
like have you thought about things like that?
No. I mean, it's cool. Like I see, let's talk about it. The Gorilla Glue girl. Now she's all famous and everything like that. Um, my heart goes out to her. But um, like stuff like that, like I know people are getting famous off of that, and I don't even personally feel like my goal is to be famous. I know these are my passions. I know this is my heart, and I want to share my passions with the world. Like I've always since like I always go back to when I was a little girl because I just turned 30 last year. So when you're in that transformation period, you go and start thinking about like how far you've come. But I always go back to the passionate little girl I was and how I always just wanted to be around, like be a light to people and have so many people like friends and things like that. So for me, I'm just focusing on inspiring people and inspiring myself. I going back to even saying how like some influencers are all about being consistent and always putting something out, and so you can get those views up there and things like that. And I came across a faith-based YouTuber, and she's like, if you are a man or woman of faith, like it's God's timing, and he what he has for you is gonna come for you. So just keep doing your purpose, and the right people will come to you. You will reach the right people, and the right doors will open for you. So just keep focusing on just living out your purpose and your truth, and things will fall into place. So maybe for those people that went viral, like that was their passion to
To go viral.
go viral. Like some people want to do that. Like it's so funny. I was just watching the old Step Up movies with my daughter. They're not even old. They're like 2000s.
What's
But
the name of the movie?
Step Up, do you remember all the old like Step Up
Unfortunately,
movies?
I
Yeah.
saw the first one.
I
Unfortunately,
watch all of them. I love that dance. So me and my sisters growing up, we always, but just thinking about like how they were always like, oh, we got to do this to go viral. We got to do this, and like that is people's passion to go viral and be successful in that way. But no, I want everything to be real and organic, and hope prayerfully make money while doing so.
I can dig that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, I don't have no desire to go viral. I just want to keep creating the content that I'm happy with and
Mhm.
continue to
Mhm.
put that out. Um, Try not to be too open because sometimes I'll just talk about things about myself without any regard of
Mhm.
how people see me because I don't have that care anymore. Like I'm just
Mhm.
being honest, but
Mhm.
I do like to just share at this point in my life and gain knowledge and
Right.
grow. When you said God's timing, I had to learn about God's timing to myself because I'm about to get into this real fast for
Go
you. So,
ahead.
all right. So people always say like, oh, I pray for this and I pray for that, and then God gives it to you on God's timing, and you're
Mhm.
not ready to receive it or know how
Mhm.
to handle it.
Mhm.
Or you always say like, why I don't never get this or get that, and then God gives it to you and you're upset about it, you
Mhm.
know. People are weird like that. I had a
Yeah.
friend ask me for $5 in cash app and I gave him 10, and he was like, why did you give me 10 and ask for 5? Oh, my bad for trying to help you out, you know what I'm saying? Okay, my bad, so here's my big theory
Mhm.
on God's timing. God's timing is always on time. It's
Mhm.
your ability to always be ready.
Mhm.
Like people don't know how to be ready for the things
Mhm.
they pray for, because people believe if you keep praying, you keep praying, you keep praying. That's not how prayer works. You pray
Mhm.
for it, you move on, and you work towards what you pray for,
Exactly. Yep.
so you can meet God's timing with your preparation and your idea of being ready.
Mhm.
And I feel like even if you're not a big person of faith, you're a big person in believing like everything happens for a reason. And
Mhm.
I believe that whatever happens or going to happen for me is God has probably already provided for me. I just didn't work towards it.
Right.
And so that's something I always try to do every day, work towards what I want out of life.
Mhm.
So if God be like, all right, Wednesday, March 17th at 1:55, I'm gonna give it to you. I need to be
Mhm.
ready. And so do you believe like you're able to be ready for what you want or what you're trying to achieve? Do you think like you're prepared for whatever you're praying for?
That you what you said is exactly like how I've been thinking, and I actually been praying like help me to be ready for what you want, because like even how I was saying or what I want, because even like I was saying being complacent, like what if I start getting all these interviews and I'm not prepared every day for them. Like there's so much that I have to like you got to yeah, you're right. You have to be prepared. You got to be disciplined, because you can ask him for a mansion and he can give it to you and you don't even have the furniture to put in it. So it is, you're exactly right, and that's something I'm learning every day, with knowing myself and understanding myself. So yeah, I definitely, that's a prayer every day, like help me to be prepared for whatever it is I'm praying for. And I
Mm.
think that's something that a lot of people, even like when like something as simple as like people win the lottery, and I want to win the lottery so bad, and you win it, and now you broke, and because you didn't know, you weren't prepared, because you didn't know how to budget, you didn't know how to save, you didn't know how to like take care of money to even, so you are exactly right, and that is literally something I think about so much. So
I don't play the lottery. I do scratch offs. But let me tell you something. If I ever play the lottery, I played it at one time. It was like 2 billion when I was like 2016 or something like that. But let me tell you something. If I ever win it, I already know three things. No one's gonna
mhm.
know I won it. I'm gonna make
Mm,
sure I have a. I'm gonna find out if I need. I'm probably gonna take a lawyer, so I make sure I get every dime that is
mhm,
owed to me.
mhm.
And I'm really gonna be very discreet with my movements
Yeah.
after that. Like no one's going to know. Like I'm gonna take care of my
Mhm.
family. I'm just
Mhm.
like, hey, I got you. But listen.
Right.
I'm gonna do something real reckless. Of
Okay.
course, for it's like I'm gonna pull up in something I didn't have the day before, but it's not gonna be like I ain't gonna pull up in no Maserati, nothing like that.
Okay.
I just get like an affinity or something like
Right.
that. But I'm gonna pull up real aggressive.
Yeah.
But I don't have desires like
Like
that.
my brand blew up. What you
What you
mean
mean,
overnight? I went
girl?
viral.
I ate some popcorn and it had a razor blade in it. I sold the kernel like I will be real.
Yes.
I'm gonna move it to a gated community too. And I'm
Right.
like, look, ain't no niggas after
But
5:30. But I don't pray for winning the lottery because
right.
everybody's praying to win the lottery. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I pray for things that I know I can handle when
Mhm.
given to me, were
Mhm.
presented to me, not given to me. And those things that I always do, like I have a therapist, and I
Mhm.
was so mad and angry all the time. And
Mhm.
I was just so frustrated. And I remember asking God one day, like, God, what's wrong with me? Can you just help me get some clarity on what's going on? And someone told me they had a therapist, and I talked to my
Mhm.
sister Rhonda about it. And the only thing that I didn't listen to her was to get a black therapist. I just because they
Mm.
said it would take longer. I'm like, it would take longer, but I guess
Mm.
when you don't have a lot of black therapists in your pool, then it takes longer for one of them to become open. I was like, no, just
Mhm.
give me whoever's available. But
Mhm.
that was so I tell people now I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I didn't have a therapist. I'm coming
Amen.
up on my third year. Like
Yay!
that
I'm
that
so proud of you.
that fella, he gets me
Yes.
together. Like,
Okay. I know. I'm so huge. Like I've had mine for a few years. Well, we haven't talked since the pandemic. She like works at a jail too. So long story short, I
mm,
have had one for a few years now, and I'm big. Like I'm not a professional. I'm not. I just know from my experience that I highly recommend, especially in our Black community, get a therapist. Like, and it's awesome to see like especially the Black men that I know who just seeing their patterns and their conversations on even like social media, and I'm like, hey, have you thought about a therapist, because I can see
hmm
something that maybe you don't
hmm
see, or and seeing the men now that are going, because of my encouragement, or just being open to talking about it, it's so important. Like my daughter, like she's like, mom, when can I go back to therapy and things like that. And I think we need that outlet other than our family, other than our friends who can sit with us and get us straight and give us tools or give us activities or like give us a different perspective without being led by your emotions. So I think that is so important. But yeah, good for
Yeah,
you.
I say this. I'm gonna say this until the day uh, I am 6 feet under. I don't know about. I'm gonna just generalize it. Our parents, black people, need therapy
Therapy.
because I'm pretty sure their parents went through a lot just to raise them.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah.
I firmly believe therapy should have been so rampant in the black community because
It
because
is.
if you grow up in a church, everything is pray to God and sweep it under the
Mhm.
rug. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then I think like that was just such the wrong way because
Right.
once I got older and I realized praying to God doesn't solve anything,
Mhm.
that's just
Mhm.
a prayer. That doesn't
Yeah.
fix anything. You have to
Yeah.
work towards that.
Towards it.
And
Mhm.
so many things haven't been addressed in probably so many black
Mhm.
households and households in general is
Mhm.
because of lack of therapy.
Mhm.
So I just think therapy is so
So
important.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jesus and therapy is good for me. Okay.
and self and mental therapy, self
So.
preservation,
Mhm.
and taking care of you. Because if you don't take care of
Mhm.
you, what else can you take care of? So
Mhm.
that's just how I
Mhm.
think. So
Mhm.
before we wrap this up, I'm gonna put your feet to the fire a little bit.
Oh my.
So we talked about your videos and dating yourself and what you want. What do you want? What does Davina look for? Like, are you looking just only for a man of faith? Are you looking for a man to come into your life and show you something new? Do you have a certain type? Do you want a muscular man? You want a short man?
Oh
You want
my
somebody who can pop a
gosh.
lot? Do you want a man who does or doesn't have kids? I mean, like, what are you looking for right now? Or if you are looking for anything.
Oh, my discernment is so real because I already knew you were gonna ask me something like this. I was like, he said he got a secret question, and I
Oh
know it's gonna
man.
be about something with dating.
Mm, okay.
Oh man. Faith is very important to me. It wasn't before, and it is. I know that all men in the church or women in the church are not. That doesn't mean anything, but I just want
Big
somebody that
facts.
does have a conviction and a relationship with the Lord, and is daily trying to um, get better in that. So that is very important. I'm not gonna tell you all my like things, dang.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, just like I think you had said on my picture. I don't know if you ever heard of or not my picture, my video, but I don't know if you ever heard of Pastor Michael Todd. But he's a pastor and he's dope. Like if you ever are looking for a pastor, he's like in his 30s and he's really good. But he talks about relationships, and the one was about like ripping up your list, like and things like that. And I do believe we need a list, but we don't need to make all these. I want them to be this and this, and that is something I'm still working on, like looks or this and that. But as much as I desire a relationship, I also know that am I ready for that? Just like you had said earlier. So, but somebody with a man of faith and somebody who accepts my children as if they were his own, or is definitely important for me. Not I mean they're fathers in their life, but like
Right.
somebody who's gonna accept because we're a package deal, and they will let you know because they have no problem. They're old souls. So but yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay, so you said listen, I forgot to talk about that earlier. So I think lists are important because you have to realize in my opinion, you can't get everything on your list. It just
Hmm.
I don't know it to be true. That doesn't mean it's not true. This is
Yeah.
just my opinion and my experience from it. So I think like when you have a list, you should have a list of things that are important and a list of things you want. Because I'm pretty sure the things that are important are going to trump the things that you want, in
Hmm.
my opinion. So
Hmm.
of course everybody wants someone who can cook and who's heartfelt or, romantic or something like that. Like I always when I was younger, I used to think just like a person who had no sense of mind would think like, oh, I want a woman who looked like this, and I want a woman who talked to me this way, and I want a woman to
Mhm.
come to the table like this. But you never think about like, okay, on the other side of the table is you. What do you bring it to the
Right.
table? So when
Right.
I got older and I realized like I wasn't bringing nothing to the table but my body. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, you got to
Yeah.
figure out like how to have a list and how to
Mhm.
have a list that you want. Like, because I went
Mhm.
down the path of soulmates and found out what a soulmate
Mhm.
is and how a person can have a soulmate. And I realized like the most important part about your list is the things that you need or not the things
Mhm.
that you want.
Mhm.
And I feel like the things that I need, I'm not moving from. With the things that
Right.
I
Right.
want, if I don't get them, I don't get them. But I tell women all the time that I date, like, if you're honest and you genuinely want to spend time with me, I can take care of the rest because
Mhm.
I'm spontaneous. I love to eat. I travel. I hike. I work out. I'm I used to be a paid writer. I do podcast. So I can bring so much to the table. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I know how to date. I know how to be your boyfriend. I don't know what it feels like to marry or want to marry someone. I've never been close to that. But
Mhm.
if you're willing to just do those two things and accept me for who I am, sky's the limits for us. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So like I just think it's important when you have a list to know what you want and what
Mhm.
you need. Get what you
Mhm.
need and worry about what you want later. Do you feel
Right.
like you can do that going forward? Like get what you need and then worry about what you want, or do you have to have it all when you find someone?
No, I don't think I have to have it all at all. Like I think that's the most important part of a relationship is growing in what you um want. You know what I mean? Just like we talked about love languages, like I think that's so I I'm a I'm a sibling of four.
Okay.
There's four of us. I'm the only one that is not married or engaged. So all my siblings. So I've learned a lot from them, and I've seen a lot of their dynamic and the way they think and the way I thought about relationships back then is totally different about than how I feel think now. And I definitely think as millennials, like I applaud you for thinking the way you think because that is a big topic. I know personally in my conversations with friends and family about people not realizing like yes it is important to have a list of needs and wants and also all these things you want are you bringing the other part to the table because we talk about this word submission and all that stuff but it's like that you have to have something to submit to and a reason to submit. Like if you're bringing enough to the table, okay. But it's just I feel like that is a whole conversation. We might have to do this again
We
because
will.
that is a whole conversation in itself. And I think that is why I'm not in a rush to be. I mean, you can desire that, but you don't need to be in a relationship. And I feel like that's why like I'm okay. Like as you know, there's those times like around the holidays where you feel like, dang, I wish I had somebody. Valentine's Day is one of my favorite holidays. So I can't wait to have that. But you have to understand what it really means to be in a relationship because I feel like that's why divorce is so high now. Like
Mm,
people aren't willing to accept that they have to learn things too, not just your spouse or your partner. And it, it's I it's sad. It's sad how people think about relationships now, but I also have faith that it can change. Like especially the more open people are to going to therapy and understanding like it's not a them that person's problem. It's what about you and what how are you healing and working towards what you want and how you want your relationship to be if you're in a relationship.
mm. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you said. Like it's definitely bettering yourself so I can better present myself to you. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's definitely good. But you said something that I didn't know about you. You said that all your siblings are married.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Hmm.
so 95, maybe 96, maybe 97% of my male friends are married. Like I'm usually the single one. And I be thinking all the time, like, man, this is so I never tell them this, but I guess if they watch this, they hear it. It's weird for me because I always feel like I know I'm always welcome and I can bring
Hmm.
myself. But if we doing anything, we got to partner up or as a team. I'll
Hmm.
be like, y'all already a team, so I always
Hmm.
feel the pressure of having to bring someone with me. My
Mm.
all my friends will tell you they don't care about that. Long as I'm
Mhm.
coming, that's all they care about. But I always feel that pressure. So, do you have any pressure like that? Do you feel like, well, my siblings married? Is it something I'm not doing? Like,
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
you think like that?
Yeah. Well, I don't ever feel like I need to bring someone because there's no one to really bring. But um, that is like my sister, my older sister is always like, you can still come, like, and I get it. And like you said, I know that I can, and there's times that I do, but you just that's just you don't want to mess with your emotions like that. Like
Mhm,
like for me, I'm just like I even if we're all together, it's just even looking around and like everybody's like we went to hibachi with like friends and family one time and I'm like everybody is partnered up and like yes I have my babies but it's not the same and I know there's someone for everyone and that will happen eventually but yeah it is definitely I feel the pressure of being the third, fourth, fifth wheel, whatever it
mhm.
is.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have to do a part two. So when you start
Yes,
interviewing people, and then I come on your,
yes, it's coming. Once I get that laptop, I told you
it's out.
it's
It's gonna
on.
be out of here. Yes, yes. So yeah, you know what? That was a good answer. I mean, I don't feel I put the pressure on myself because, like I said, my
Mhm.
friends will never say that. Like they'll ask me if I'm bringing someone because I'm always talking to someone and it never works out. But I have to.
You
I
need to date yourself and stop worrying about dating
I
somebody
I
else.
am dating
I'm
myself,
playing.
but like I don't want to say I have terrible choices or I've been made some bad choices. Just it just hasn't worked out. So I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with me and how I'm
Mhm.
choosing and why it's not working. You
Yeah.
know, because my patience for things is really low. So
Mhm.
once I feel like something's not going the way it should be going,
Mhm.
I just stop talking to a person. I won't even try to
Mhm.
talk it out with them to make it work. I'll be like, no, I'm cool on you. So I'm trying to get better at doing stuff like that.
Mhm.
But life is all about balance,
It
and
is.
I'm
It's all about
happy and I'm
learning.
at peace, and my energy and my vibe is high, and I don't want nobody to ruin it. So I just rather leave a situation high and dry.
Yeah.
But
Don't give up too quick if there's something there. I think that's it. I was gonna say that earlier. I feel like some are. I don't. Are you a millennial?
I don't think so. I was born in '84. Is that considered a millennial?
I don't know.
What?
Probably
Wait
not.
a minute.
Oh,
How you?
85 is. I think it's 85. Either way, okay.
Okay.
The millennial generation has a hard time trying to, or a hard time fighting for something. Like I don't think they put effort. They just keep like okay, it's not gonna work out or like but that's part of a relationship. Unless there's times where you need to give up. But
Mhm.
I think that people give up too easily these
I don't.
days.
I don't know if I give up too easily, but I could definitely
Not
say
you.
right. But I say I know I definitely could be like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. I don't like the energy. It's all
Mhm.
wrong, or you'll say something to me and I'll be like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like that combativeness. I don't want what you offering. Like, thanks for what you brought to the table.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah, definitely I definitely and I hear you on that. I hear you on that part. Weird, yeah. You got to
yeah,
know the balance, I guess.
absolutely. Well, I would like to thank you for doing this. I'm so happy that
Thank you.
you accepted and we were able to have this communication and
Thank
conversation.
you.
So you definitely have an ally in the branding
Thank you. So do you.
podcast world.
So do you. For sure.
Yeah, so I would definitely promote for you and I will continue to watch your
Thank
videos.
you.
I'm going to subscribe to them because I didn't subscribe. I don't know why I didn't
Oh,
subscribe.
I
I'm
think I
tripping.
subscribed to your I believe I did. I've been watching for the last few days like okay, I got to see what his vibe is. Like let me see what I'm getting into. So I've watched a few conversations.
Yeah, some of my conversations are really up there with
Yeah.
the conversation, and some of them are calm. And so, since
Mhm.
when it's people I don't know, I try to just feed off their energy instead of just throwing my energy at it. Because some
Mhm.
people can be standoffish. So, I'm just glad you was open to this, and you
Thank
were
you.
gentle with your replies and things like that. But I really appreciate it, and
Mhm.
I hope that in the future we could do some work together
Most
because
definitely.
I really like your energy and the things you're trying to achieve based on
Thank you.
what I know at this point. And I think I'm about to get in one of them shirts. Oh, them shirts unisex, whole thing for plus size women only.
Yeah. So my the slogan is crown for the queendom.
Mm.
but eventually I want it to be for the kingdom as well. So when it's the kingdom, I mean, you can rap, be like, yeah, that's my homegirl Davina shirt, or whatever. We'll
I mean,
find
I
some.
could
You don't
always
even have
buy a
to.
shirt and gift it to a woman.
There you
Get
go.
my mother always likes wearing
Here,
shirts, so I can
queen.
get my mom a shirt
Here's
or
a
something
shirt for
like.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
there you
So
go.
once again, I want to tell you thank you, and like
Okay.
always, before I end my podcast, I tell people be safe, wear your mask, drink more water, and eat more
Eat
chicken.
more chicken.
Eat more-
I know.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's all. I was
Let me
like,
find.
even so when you said that earlier, I was like, yeah, I already know about you and chicken.
Listen, I eat chicken
Yes.
7 days a week, at least
Oh,
2 to 3 times a day. No cap. No
that's
cap.
interesting.
Yes, my body is run off of chicken. I'm chicken food. You
I
better
love
ask
it.
about me.
Oh my
I went to a
goodness.
steakhouse the other day and I got the chicken. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I should have got the steak, but I wanted the
Oh
chicken.
my goodness. That day. Everybody has their special qualities.
I am a chicken connoisseur, so absolutely. So once again, I thank you. And
Yes.
I will let you know when everything is coming out, and then we'll go and I'll give you the link and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'll get with you about what links you want me to post
Okay.
in the video.
Okay.
And it'll be out everywhere. It's gonna be everywhere but Apple, because I don't have Apple products, so I can't put it on iTunes. But
Oh, you
Google
don't
and
have Apple. What are you
Spotify.
doing? No, I
Yes.
know I need to get on Spotify. I don't have, I have it, but I don't have it.
I keep saying I'm gonna go to my
So
mother's house and get her iPad and do it, but I never do. I never do.
you should. You need to make that, put that on your bucket list.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh,
I'll be having a website coming soon, so hopefully I'll have that done before by the end of this month. I should have that launched. So I forgot to
okay.
say that when I was done.
I look forward to that. So I
Yeah.
thank you very much, Davina, and we will be talking soon.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, sir.
All
Bye
right, bye.
bye.